Hello and welcome. Thank you guys so much for joining. And if you're new here, especially welcome. Thanks for clicking on this video. I thought today I would just go over a debt confession. So I kind of did a small one in the last video that I did, but in that video, we didn't include medical debt that we currently have, which in my mind is still debt. We still owe money to somebody and we still have monthly bills. So I'm going to include medical debt in this. And we also have another credit card, which I'll explain when I get to it, that we now have a balance on since the last little debt confession. So like I had said in the last video, at one point in time, we were completely debt-free. And then we bought 2 houses, and the renovations ended up costing more than the cash that we had on hand. So we ended up putting a lot on credit cards. And over the last 3 years, we have been able to pay off a lot of those credit cards, but in the meantime have accrued a lot of vehicle debt, which is really hard for me because for a long time we didn't have any vehicle debt. But we had our 4th baby in 2022, and before he was born, we had a car that had been paid off forever, but it only had 5 seats in it. So with our 4th baby, we had to get a bigger car. So we bought a minivan, a used minivan, which we actually got a really good deal on. We only paid $10,000 total for it. But around the same time that we got that, my husband got a job out of state and had taken our vehicle that we had paid off to the other state. And while he was there, we were spending so much money in gas and maintenance. Like, it was an older car. It did not get good gas mileage. It wore tires really bad because of the alignment. And we just decided, you know what, let's just get a cheap little car as a commuter car. So we ended up buying him a little commuter car, which I think we paid about $6,500 for total. And then he ended up getting a job back in our current state, which was a pay raise, plus we were able to lower our cost of living in our current state. And we bought a house, and with his new job, he was making a lot of extra overtime income, and we got really used to that income. The company that he works for sells a specific product, and there isn't a lot of companies in the world that sell this product. So when he first got on, they were one of only like 2 companies. So they kind of determined the price of this product across the world. And since then, another company has opened up in another country, which has actually lowered the price of the product, meaning that the company has to sell it for less in order to make money. So he actually lost basically all of his overtime, which we had gotten really, really used to. And at the time that he was getting lots of overtime, an opportunity came up to buy his dad's truck from him, which was also a steal of a deal. And so we jumped on it because at the time we had the income for it and it wasn't stretching the budget at all. And around that same time, we ended up buying a brand new dump trailer, which I don't even want to get into. My husband was insistent on this dump trailer. So we bought a dump trailer for about $8,000. And then over the next few months, his income drastically, if not cut in half, decreased, which was really hard. It was really hard to go from making a certain amount of money to all of a sudden making half of that. So that is kind of when we decided, okay, we've got to get on top of this again. So since about, I want to say May or June, we have really been focusing on trying to get all of this debt paid off. But over this year, with our 4 kids, we have had tons of medical debt accrue. We've had, all of our kids got strep 2 different times. Our 4-year-old broke her nose, which ended up an ER visit. Then she also got her tonsils removed, and our baby got tubes in his ears, and our 4-year-old had to get dental work done at the hospital under general anesthesia. Our 7-year-old had to get an endoscopy done under general anesthesia. And it's just been medical bill after medical bill after medical bill. And we actually hit our $7,000 out-of-pocket max in like July of this year. So everything that we have in medical debt, we have been working on since about July, and we still just have quite a bit of medical debt left. So I know I'm just kind of blabbering. This is going to get kind of long, but I will write down all of our debts and I'll show you at the end how much we have, because it's quite a bit. We have about 15 accounts worth of debt to write down. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So the first one is medical number 1. And the starting balance is $29.55, which I know isn't a high balance, but when you have a bunch of bills, it's so hard to pay one thing off and still have enough money for all of the other bills. So that's why you'll see a lot of these with like low balances, but they still have balances. It does not have an interest rate, and the minimum payment is $29.55. Number 2 is medical number 2. And it has a balance of $29.97. And it also has a 0% interest rate, but the minimum payment is also $29.97. And then number 3 is another medical bill. Surprise, surprise. And these are all to like different hospitals, different clinics, different doctors. And so we don't just owe one lump sum to one specific place. It's like spread all over the place. And honestly, kind of a pain to keep track of. So this one we owe $59.87. It has a 0% interest rate. And the minimum payment is $59.87. Number 4 is medical number 4. This one we owe $103.07. It also has a 0% interest rate, and our minimum payment is $103.07. Number 5 is medical number 5. And we owe $135.80. Has a 0% interest rate, and the minimum payment is $135.80. Number 6 is medical number 6. And we owe $174.49. It has a 0% interest rate, and this one I actually do have on a payment plan with the hospital. Luckily, we were able to get on that because our stinking medical bills are insane this year. So the minimum payment due on that is $45. Number 7 is my PayPal credit card, which I have put some things on here that I can pay over time. So currently I'm not paying interest on it. I have until February to pay it off without interest. But currently it is sitting at $929.02. It has a 23.99% interest rate. So I really got to get that paid off. And the minimum payment on it is $35, and I literally never pay the minimum payment. I always take this number and divide it by how many months I have to pay off that item interest-free, and then I make that the minimum payment. I've never paid interest on my PayPal credit card in the, 6 years that I've had it. That's like the only credit card that I know how to use correctly. The next is medical number 7. And this is our last medical debt. The current balance is $15.73.79. It does not have an interest rate, but the minimum payment is $100 a month. And I'm so grateful that we were also able to get that on a payment plan. Although it sucks, it's 0% interest, and it allows me to put money elsewhere without having to pay that giant lump sum right up front. And number 9 makes me sick. So we had paid off this credit card, which is a Chase credit card. We had paid it off just like 2 months ago. And we had a medical bill for my daughter. And we had been paying little minimum payments. Sorry, not minimum payments. We had been paying payments on it. But they contacted us and let us know that because the bill was less than $2,500, they did not accept payment plans. Like the hospital that we went to was awful, seriously awful. So they said they did not accept payment plans, and that if we didn't pay it in full within 30 days, they were going to send us to collections for it, even though we had been paying on it. So I ended up just putting it on this paid off credit card, which is fine. I mean, it's better than collections, but it sucks because we had worked so hard to pay off this credit card. So the current balance of this credit card is $2,010.43. It does have a pretty high interest rate of 27.49%. And the minimum monthly payment is $35. And I've also never paid the minimum payment on that either. I usually pay like $100 or $150. But with us trying to snowball everything, I think it might be best for at the current time if maybe we did pay the minimum payment. I can't decide what to do. We'll figure it out. Number 10 is a student loan, which when my husband was in school in 2020, his schooling was actually paid for through the military, but at that time he was unemployed, and he wasn't unemployed. He was employed, but he was making very little money, and just going to school for full-time, working part-time. And we were trying to get some stuff done on our 2 little properties that we had. And so we ended up taking out a student loan of $4,000 at that point in time to live off of, which is our only student debt. And we currently owe I just realized these are backwards. We currently owe $3,973.41. The interest rate is 8%, and the minimum payment is $50. And we just barely started paying that again, which is stupid. We should have been paying it this whole time. But we just barely started paying that again this last month. So that's why the balance is pretty much where it was at when we got it. I know it sucks to have the student debt, but at that point in time, it really did save us from having to go into other debt. Number 11, which actually should be number 10, but it's fine, is my husband's car, which is our little commuter car. And this has a balance of $3,307.82. The interest rate is 10%, and the minimum monthly payment is $119. Number 12 is my van, the family van, which I know people knock minivans, but it was the best thing we ever did. Seriously, my kids can't door ding anybody. Okay, so we currently owe $6,846.32. And the interest rate is at 8.49%. And the minimum monthly payment is $179. Number 13 is the dump trailer. And because we have the rental properties, which we are frequently having to haul trash from, it has been really useful. I don't think it's worth what we pay a month for it, but I digress. We currently owe $7,302.91. The current interest rate is 10.5%. And the minimum payment is $207. Number 14 is my husband's truck. And the current balance is $9,883.01. The interest rate is 6.74, and the minimum payment is $218 a month. Number 15 is our house. Now, I know a lot of people don't consider their house debt, and I do, only for the reason that I still am paying somebody interest. That money could be mine if I didn't have that debt, if that makes sense. And I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but for me, our house is still debt because we're paying interest on it. And we bought in 2022, which was at the peak of the market. But we were pretty desperate to get out of our little 700 square foot house and into something bigger because we had 4 kids, my husband and I, and it was just way too small. We needed something bigger. So we did end up buying the house, which I don't necessarily regret. But it definitely hasn't gained any value, or we haven't gained any equity in it at all because of the market. So we basically owe maybe what we could sell it for, if not at a loss. So our current balance on it is $305,027.79. The interest rate is at 4.5, which I know isn't terrible for right now, but our first house interest rate was at 2.5. So that 4.5 feels like a lot. And our minimum monthly payment is $1,952.99. And I always pay $2,000. It's just easier to round up to $2,000 and put a little bit more towards the principal on it. Just because I want to get out of this mess that we're in. So the total for our debt is $341,387.25. It's a big, huge number. And I know this next month we should be able to knock out quite a few of these medical bills, which will drop our accounts down, which will be so nice. Just seeing these 15 accounts seriously makes me sick to my stomach. I don't know how other people, like, if it bothers them, but it bothers me. I hate owing money to so many different accounts. So since we've paid everything for October currently, and we are currently up to date, this is the actual amount we owe on everything. I'll try to do a check-in at the end of November to see how much we were able to pay off. I think that'll be so awesome to see how much we are able to pay off. So if you've made it this far in the video, seriously, thank you so much for watching. I know it's a lot. It's an overwhelming amount of debt. I feel it too. But we're hoping that this is a kick in the right direction that we need, and we're able to just take all the steps we need to get this under control. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.